11 and 0, 9 knockouts. Subscribe to Sporting Icon for your latest boxing news. Come!
Now I want to speak to you guys about something that doesn't really get spoken about too much, and I know that this video isn't going to get like a lot of views, a lot of likes or anything like that, okay? This is a lot of information and potential business opportunities for you guys as far as boxing fighters go, okay? So I've been watching a lot of Ohara Davies videos, and I know a lot of people don't like him because of what happened in Liverpool and things like that. And okay, fine, I get that, but he does actually explain why he did all that. It's pretty much the WWE persona, okay? And he's actually a real nice guy when you see him on there. Now, all that aside, okay, he does bring up a point on one of his videos from a little while back there that I was meaning to speak about for quite a while, and my media manager Scott, he said about this one as well, even though he hasn't seen that video. And it's about sponsorship for fighters, because there's so many fighters who are currently under the radar. They're up and coming, but people don't really know about them because they're not signed to Matchroom, they're not signed to, say, Frank Warren or whatever it may be. So currently they're not on TV. That doesn't mean that they're no good, not at all, because I know quite a few names who are under the radar right now, who I believe will go on to become big names in the sport of boxing. And you know what, if you guys want to know who those names are, just go over to my Instagram and follow me if you don't already, or drop me a message and I'll give you a couple of names for you guys to reach out to so you can speak to them directly about sponsoring them. Now automatically I know when we say about sponsoring these guys, listen, if you have a company, if you have a brand, a logo, okay, if you're an artist, if you're working in a tile company, you know, have a word with your boss, things like that, about sponsoring some of these guys. And it's not expensive, it really isn't. If you've got, say, I don't know, obviously it depends on the level of fighter. Now automatically when a company thinks about sponsoring, say, a boxer, they're looking at the ones who are high end, okay, the ones who are already established, almost the ones who are already getting TV time. But that's when they're spending out a lot of money, and they're not necessarily getting that much more exposure, really. But don't forget, these people who are on TV quite regular don't need sponsorship. They don't need it, okay? They're already getting paid, okay? A company is sponsoring them to advertise their brand on their t-shirt, and their brand could get lost among the many of other sponsors, so it may not even get seen. So in some cases it's actually dead money. Now for me, I wouldn't sponsor somebody who's on TV all the time, because they don't need it. The people who do need it are the lower end ones, the ones who are up and coming, and the ones who could eventually be on TV at some point. And as I said, I know quite a few names, so DM me on that over on Twitter or Instagram if you like. And to find that, if you don't know what they are, go to my About section on my homepage and you can see a link for my Twitter, Instagram, etc. So the reason that I'm doing this one is because there's so many fighters who are potentially very good, very good, and are just on the brink of breaking out, but they end up quitting because they can't afford to fight. Because if you look at, say, some of the lower guys, they don't get TV time, so therefore they're not getting paid a lot of money. So in a lot of cases, they have to pay their opponent to fight. And how do they get the money? Well, they've got a full-time job somewhere. Okay, these guys are having to go to work and spend all day there, and of course they're tired, then having to go to the gym in the evening or before work and things like that, and try and stay in shape, which is quite difficult to do. And of course balance their home life of their house, whether it be rent or mortgage. They've got a wife, they've got children, so they can't really always afford to do it. So what they do is they rely on sponsorships. Now, we're not talking a sole sponsor here, not at all. They need a few sponsors, okay? So it all adds up. It just helps them get into the gym, if you like. It helps them pay for an opponent, because a promoter, he won't just say, right, okay, I want you on this card and here's some money. That's not always how it works. It's a case of, if you want to be on my card, now we're not talking the higher end here, okay, we're talking about some lower ones, so maybe some small hall shows, okay, where a promoter will say, okay, right, I want you on my show, but you can only be on my show if you can sell X amount of tickets. Then after you sell X amount of tickets, you can then start making money after then. But you still need to pay your opponent to fight on my card. It's some good exposure for you, and that's an extra 1 on your BoxRec record, if you was to win, of course. So it's a whole rigmarole of these things, and you know, these guys don't have much sponsorship. Now we're talking about a couple of £100. Okay, we're not talking thousands. If you want people who are already established on TV, who already have money in the bank, you're talking thousands, sometimes umpteen thousands, okay, just to have your logo, your company name on their t-shirt for not only the fighter when they do the ring walk and after the fight, but also for their cornermen, the trainer, the cut man, etc. They will all wear this, but your name will probably get lost within the mix of a whole load of them, so it wouldn't even get seen. It wouldn't even get noticed. It just looks like a blur, doesn't it? But yeah, if you look at some of the lower ones who are fighting in front of 500 people, a couple of thousand people, these people will see your brand, and this brings more people to you. And guess what? It doesn't cost you too much. As I said, you could be looking at, what, say £300-400 for a guy who's just on the brink of breaking out into TV. And if you can get these guys on a contract, so I don't know, for example, for some of them, you could say, right, okay, I want to give you £500 for your next 5 fights, for example. So £500 per fight. Okay, so you get them to sign a contract, and so if within that period they then become on TV, they are contractually obliged to have your brand. But not only that, you see, they will carry on supporting you and having you on their t-shirt if they do become a huge star. Why? Because you were there in the beginning. And we are talking a couple of £100 sometimes per fight, and it's not a lot if you have a company, and if your company is doing fairly well as well. I mean, why put your name on a roundabout? To be honest, not many people look at the signs on roundabouts. It just doesn't happen, because people know their way to work. Okay, they know their way to the shopping mall, they know their way to wherever, or if they've got a GPS, they're too busy looking at the damn GPS. So why put your name on a roundabout? There's no need. Put them on a guy who needs the money, who can advertise your brand, and if they end up making it big, are going to keep your brand. So, and again, look at it from a nostalgic point of view as well, in the fact that you can be part of their journey. At some point in their history, you were part of their journey. Okay? You have physical evidence of these people wearing your brand. And as I said, they could end up remembering you. If you end up sponsoring somebody who could be the next Anthony Joshua, he becomes a superstar of boxing. Yeah, he's still going to keep your brand. And at that point, he doesn't need your money. He's probably going to do it for free because you helped him out in the beginning, because he was thinking about quitting. So for me, I would, if you really want to be part of the sport, don't look at sponsoring the high-end guys, the ones who are already making a lot of money, the ones who are already earning. You don't need to, because they don't need your money. They don't need it. And to them, you're nothing. I mean, listen, they'll take your money, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. But ultimately, if there's a better deal comes along, they'll just throw you in the garbage and move on. So for me, I would sponsor. And I said, I know quite a few heavyweights who would love, even for £300-400, would put your company name, your logo, your brand, whatever it may be, on their shirt for, what, £300-400 per fight, for example. That's not a lot of money, really. And you're part of boxing, aren't you? So why not? So for me, if you've got a couple of £100 and you're thinking, you know what, I want to do some kind of advertising, I want to get my brand out there, and you love boxing, this is the way forward. As I said, I can give you guys a whole bunch of names for many people who, for me, could be one of the next big things. Could be. I'm not saying will be, but could be. They have potential to be so. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it all. Obviously, you drop me yours. If you've got any kind of questions about it, obviously put it in the comment section below, or contact me on Instagram or Twitter, preferably Twitter. To be honest, I tend to check that a bit more than I do with Instagram. For whatever reason, I don't always get all messages. I don't understand why on Instagram. So you can always do that on Twitter, and I can give you guys a couple of names, local talent who could be could be some serious contenders at some point. And yes, that does mean that they could end up be signed up by Matchroom or a Frank Warren or a David Haye or whatever else it may be. And who knows, maybe the next world champion. So anyway, just a little bit of food for thought. You drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.